Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest rendition of Tales from Outer Space. Taken from the subreddit HFY. All the relevant links will be down below. And as always, I hope that you enjoy, and if you do, please consider supporting the channel. Now, on to the science fiction. I would like to give a quick thanks to our Tier 5 channel members and patrons. Fallen Angel, Buzz Killington. Thank you again. Now on to the story. We Hold the Line, written by squeakypeeky. I had been garrisoned on a mixed-race space station for 3 weeks when the news reached us that fighting had broken out. Most of the friends I'd made in Qatar had made the smart choice and stayed local, near their families, but I'd fallen into what I later learned was a trap. The unit's leader had rounded up a group of us and offered us the opportunity to volunteer for an exciting new brigade. An interspecies battle group, 8 different races, to be stationed off-world in free space, to act as a first line of defense. They only wanted the best, they said, to represent us amongst the races. Volunteers only, as they didn't want anyone going who wasn't ready to be there. Fracking dog crap, a lot of it. I should have known to never volunteer for anything. That's what got me stuck in the army in the first place. Those first 3 weeks had taught me a bit about my newfound battle brothers, though. The humans were small but fast and fought in massive exoskeletons to make up for the diminutive stature. The Krelek were huge, over 3 meters tall and perpetually furious. They also couldn't run for crap. Any time they tried, they end up choking on the longest hair that covered their faces. The Grandar, my people, were somewhere in the middle, though without the hair. Hell, in the galaxy at large, we were as average as they come. There were a couple of other races around too, the Hantina, the Savak, but they don't feature in this. Thus, after the first week, the morons who dreamt up this operation realized something. The spirit of community thing that they'd idealized with this battle group was a freaking pipe dream. Most of us had spent the last 1,000-odd years fighting each other, either in courts or space, and we weren't exactly the best and the brightest of our species. Not one of the races had actually sent their best. We were, to a person, fresh recruits from whatever training world our races had dreamt up. Most of us had pissed off someone higher up, or just wanted to get a frick away from our homes for a bit. And so, we spent the first week or so fighting each other for good bunks, for good food, or in the case of the Krelek, just because it's fun. They broke us up into groups of people who hated each other the least, and then shut the fricking doors and tried to forget about us. And war broke out. I could almost see the higher-ups wiping the sweat from their brow. An excuse to be rid of us, dropped right into their laps. They didn't assign group leaders, didn't give us radio contacts for command. They just left us to die with a whole lot of glory. And so I found myself being dropped onto a planet not 2 kilometers from the front line of a fight I didn't even understand, with the orders to not let anyone get into the goddamn mountain. There were 50 of us, fully kitted out and with enough supplies to last a month, and all we had to do was hold the front door of this ridiculous mountain vicinity. And so we gathered, 20 humans, 20 Gondar, and 10 Krelek, and watched the fireworks in the distance. It's hard to describe this place that we were given to hold. When we dropped in, there were just us, a road, and a massive fricking pod that we'd arrived in. Oh, and a mountain with a massive metal door carved into it. Our orders simply said to stop anyone getting the goddamn door. The pod itself was incredible. Imagine a permacrete bunker that had been dropped and set up in seconds. The walls on it were particularly impenetrable, built to withstand pretty much whatever someone could throw at it. I knew there were others just like it, dropping at other important strategic positions all over the planet. And that when the fighting was finished and all the blood was done being spilt, they would remain. Incredible pieces of technology. Shame they cheaped out on the bunks. Getting prepped for the fight with an enemy you know frick all about is weird. Do they have air support? Should we expect much artillery? Who fricking knows? The impact with the ground had shattered the road's concrete, and the humans immediately started digging divots into the trenches, their suits giving them ridiculous strength. One started giving orders to the others, and they immediately broke into teams and started digging purposely, turning our bunker into an even more defensible position. One yelled at the critics to help, but they snorted and went back into the bunker. I could hear them roaring and hammering on each other a moment later, preparing for death in ways that only Krennic could. The humans who had taken charge then turned to me. "Now you gonna help, or not, you lazy frickin' bastard?" I shrugged and stepped forward to the edge of the trench. Looking inwards, it was clear that there wasn't actually that much of a plan to this. There really wasn't time. Instead, they were simply ripping up the loose earth and permacrete where they could, so there'd be enough space for a body or two to move through. "I don't have robot arms. I can't dig through this." The human looked at me and my comparatively massive frame. "Then tell your mates they better start piling the crap up we throw up somewhere where it'll stop bullets. I don't plan on dying today, and if you don't either, I reckon you better get a frickin' move on." I turned to the rest of the Grundle, and I was surprised to find that they were right behind me. Our people are not natural leaders. Our politicians are bred for it. And it is unusual to be told what to do by anyone without 1,000 years of heritage behind them. So naturally, we did what we were told. The lumps of rock and stone were not overly heavy, and soon we had a wall of sorts that covered anyone in the hastily built trenches from fire. "What do we do if they have air support?" I asked the human in charge. He looked nonplussed. "You go into the freaking bunker, mate." "Crap. This is mostly just a way to make a bit of space in case we're out here for a while. You should get your blokes inside into battle gear. I reckon we'll have trouble soon." "My blokes?" "You know, your squad or whatever you frickin' call them, your mates. Who's in charge of your lot?" "Nobody is. We don't have a commander with us." That shocked him for a second. "What's your rank, mate? I reckon you're in charge now." "We're fighters. There is no commander assigned to us." "Guess you just got fricking promoted. As the highest commanding officer of the assembled human force, I'm putting you in charge." I spluttered. "Are you a commander? I'm a fighter. I cannot command." What is your authority?" He turned to the other humans and yelled, "Oi, boys! What's my authority?" They yelled back in one voice, "First in line to get the uniform, sir." And I got that spot by being the fastest runner and the quickest thinker. Means I also think quickly enough to put you in charge, Chief. Right about then was when the bullets started flying. I watched as my people started screaming in panic, running in circles and diving behind whatever cover they could see. I could hear the humans screaming orders over the sound of explosions as they crept closer. And so, I volunteered myself again. "Yundar! Get into the pit with the humans!" And so they did, rallying to a voice, any voice. I watched as they ran and dived into the cover of the trench. I listened to the gunfire, and bullets bounced off the bunker behind us, and prepared myself for the worst. End of story. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you do, please consider supporting the author, even by popping over and leaving a thumbs up or a nice comment, just to show your appreciation for the story. However, if you wish to support this channel, there are links down below which will help immensely. I will see you all in the next one, and until then, I hope that you have a fantastic day. Cheers.